All right, it's Jeremy Williams here with Red Hawk Coaching, and had the blessing, the opportunity this morning to meet with Chad Hyams. Chad Hyams has been the owner of Ember Seminars for over 8 years. Our journey goes way back, pretty much essentially when I started with Keller Williams, and we built a great friendship over time. And I've learned so much from him, and we're kind of on the same journey right now with building our coaching programs and expanding that. Recently, Chad had launched Life Sparks, a video series. I had the opportunity to do one of those with Chad and talk about time management. He's had great people like Zach Younger and Jay Papasan and just some other people that I've really followed myself personally over the years, and just great people that are pretty smart as well. So, Chad, how are you doing this morning?
I'm fantastic, Jeremy. Thanks for that wonderful introduction and the opportunity to be here and share with your audience.
So, Chad, tell me a little bit about your journey in the real estate industry, and then also, when did you begin Ember Seminars, and why did you do that?
Wow. Okay, my journey.
Like a three-parter.
Sure, three-part and one. All right, let's go back. I'll do the quick history of my time in real estate. I got into the real estate industry right around 2001. I joined Keller Williams right away. It was still a small organization really at that time. We hadn't even received the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, which everybody that's in the industry hopefully has had a chance to read, no matter what brokerage you're with. I was a buyer's agent on a team. I became a buyer's manager for that team as the market picked up. I was Rookie of the Year for the Southwest region of Keller Williams. I worked with that team for quite a while. And then I had an opportunity to move to a different team. I wanted to see it being done kind of the other side of the coin. And I got moved from working with buyers to learn listings. Jeremy, for the next 18 months, listed anywhere from 25 to 45 homes a month. They kept me going pretty well on the listing opportunities. Then I became what Keller Williams refers to as the team leader. So that's the office manager plus for those who aren't in Keller Williams speak. And I had the opportunity to lead the Las Vegas Market Center for many years until I moved to Bellingham, Washington to work with my friend Ben Kinney. And Ben and I had the opportunity. I became a team leader for him. I became a general manager as he took over many market centers. We created at that time the Internet Marketing Specialist designation, IMSD, where we taught everybody how to break the internet to succeed in real estate. Keller Williams asked us to put a class together, those lessons. I traveled the country teaching that for a long time. I believe that might be how you and I finally got connected, with me coming around the country and through the IMSD training. Had the chance while I was in Atlanta to stay. I was asked to stay. I became the Southeast Regional Growth and Productivity Director. So I had the opportunity to help the Southeast region grow at a massive level. I had the opportunity to jump into the expansion world, which is now becoming a thing in the real estate industry, and see it from the inside. And, that's my real estate history over the years. I like to say that there's pretty much no role in real estate I haven't done, except maybe the bookkeeper, and you don't want me with your numbers like that. I'll mess up your accounting all day long. Ember Seminars came to me, partway through the stop. I was up in Bellingham, actually. I remember it was a friend, Chris McNamara, and I were sitting there talking. It was time to have a business, to incorporate all my speaking under the umbrella. Chris is one of those guys who loves the dry erase board. He pulled out a Sharpie. We started coming up with words that were inspiring and all of that stuff, and ended up with the term Ember, just as that small little glowing bit of that flame that could still, with just the right gust of air, turn into a huge fire and start everything up again. And that's where Ember Seminars came from as a name. It was built originally just to have a business, because if you're going to run a business, you should be running a business properly. Mm-hmm. And that means having actual company name that everything was ran under, that I was just an employee of and speaking on behalf of. And then it grew into my whole speaking company. It grew into the coaching opportunity, and it grew into where it is now, which is the company that my wife and I proudly own and run everything through.
Oh, awesome. So within this company, you started a video series a few months back in the video series Life Sparks. And, just kind of a general overview of it from the outside world looking in is you find really talented people and you get into conversation with them for about 5 minutes, and they're giving these bits and nuggets that, you don't have to go to a 60-minute seminar or 2-day seminar. It's just some very top level, here's some quick nuggets, go out and implement. Tell me about Life Sparks and what got you motivated to do that.
Well, that was the thing, Jeremy. You just hit it right on the head. There's too many people that go to training, they go to seminars, they want to go hear from some of these coaches that are selling ridiculous, expensive, multiple day events to go to. And then they don't do anything from these events, right? They do nothing. They come home with a really smart notebook, and then they end up with a really smart bookshelf, right? And to me, my belief is I don't even take notes when I go to training opportunities too often anymore. It's been years probably since I've taken notes. I will sit there and listen for the one thing that jumps out at me that says that's the thing I need to go do. Because I know if I do it, the class was worth it. And I know that I could sit there for days and I could take notes and I could write everything, and I won't even remember what half my notes mean when I go back and look at them even a week later. And I won't have done anything because I'll go to the next class and I'll start taking more notes and more notes and more notes. So I got sick and tired really of people that were coming to my training opportunities or just talking about these amazing events they went to and not doing anything about it. So LifeSpark to me became something that literally like that is a spark that could just change something. And the videos are one of two methods. Sometimes it's an interview like we're doing right now. And like you said, I attempt to keep those between 5 and 6 minutes at the most because I don't believe in taking that time. Otherwise, it's just me sharing a thought that you probably can't even brush your teeth in the amount of time it would take to have the video playing in the background. Podcasts are the thing now, right? Everyone's got to have a podcast. Everyone's got to have a podcast. Forget it. I'm having the video series. Why? Because I think there still needs to be the visual connection that a lot of people want. And I think a lot of people listen to the podcast, yet they've tuned out 95% of the podcast. They're not actually listening. So to me, it's how do I get to the point to give you one point that's something you can do. And every Thursday I release them on YouTube. I put them out on my Facebook page as well. The hashtag LifeSpark is there to be able to find them. Or again, you could go to youtube.com/Chad Hyams. There's a whole LifeSpark playlist, so you can go back and see them. And they are, when it's just me, maybe 2 minutes, maybe 2 minutes of something that you could do that would change something right away. When it's an interview opportunity, yeah, it's and I got a bunch in the bucket that are coming. And it's not necessarily, and I love how you say it because you're right. I've had some smart people like you, like Jay Papazan, who have joined me already on these. Yet it's everyday people. Because here's the thing, everybody out there watching this right now, they have that one thing that if they shared with other people would change things for them. So it doesn't have to be someone who's written a book. It doesn't have to be someone who's speaking in front of thousands of people or running a coaching company. To me, it's somebody that just has something they want to share.
Chad, that's refreshing to me to hear that and to know your spirit when it comes to things like that is, recognizing that everybody has something to contribute. And it's really bugged me over the years that that's been limited to a small group of people. And, everybody, at any level has something that they can give and contribute that if somebody takes that one thing and runs with it, takes action on it, right? That's a big thing. I keep hearing that, and you haven't said it yet. You're saying, go take action, right? Anybody can help somebody through, their personal life experience. And I love this.
Everybody's got a story,
yeah.
Right? Everybody's got something. There's that person who, I don't know, maybe they're having a health challenge and they just started walking 10,000 steps a day and that helped, right? Great. Share that message with people. There is someone who started drinking more water and less soda and coffee and has changed their health because of it. There is someone who has just woken up 15 minutes earlier every day and it's made the difference. It doesn't matter what it is and it doesn't matter who you are. My goal with LifeSpark is to give those people an opportunity and a platform. So if there's anybody watching this that's got that one thing they want to share, just connect with me and say, I'd love to be on one of your videos. I mean, years ago, as you know, and others who have followed me might know, I auditioned for American Ninja Warrior. So today I'm actually going to be doing a recording with my ninja training coach. I was like, I know you've got something. You always had words of wisdom, so give me one. So we'll record today. It'll probably go live in 2 or 3 weeks by the time I get it processed, and I've got a few already in the bucket ready to go. Yet it doesn't have to be someone who's done it all, been there, because everyone's got something. Heck, you're a parent. You've got something that would help every parent out there from some experience you had with your kids. Let's share those things, and then let's take action on what we're hearing lives will get so much better so easily.
Yeah, and I know, and I have a sense that you're a person of action, and when we look at a lot of the coaching wheels that are out there, programming leads to thinking, thinking leads to feeling, feeling leads to action, action leads to results, results leads back to programming, and it either reinforces it or it changes. And I think you're probably at the same area of the wheel that I like to focus on, which is action. I think sometimes we spend so much time thinking that we don't move into the action piece. And I think that's what Life Sparks is. It's like, here's something, grab it, go take action.
That's it. And the only way you're going to know if it worked is in hindsight, right? One of the Life Spark videos says that. I have a bandana I wear when I run. I do my distance running, and it says, move or choose, don't be a flat squirrel, right? And it's that squirrel that you're driving down the road and he sits there in the middle of the road and he runs back and forth and you're like, I don't know, did I hit him or did I not hit him? Because you can't make a choice. Should I run this way or should I run this way to get away from the car? You got to make a choice. The worst thing that happens is you make the wrong choice. It's usually not life or death that you're making a choice like the squirrel in the middle of the road might be. For those of us, it's make a choice. So make a choice to go walk 10,000 steps. You know what? If you do it for a few days and go, ow, this is actually hurting my knees more than helping me. Okay, it was the wrong choice for you. Go do it on a bike, do something different. If you choose to go you've just got to make a choice.
Yeah.
And you've got to take action, because otherwise you could think all day long about it and you could come up with both answers. It's like the internet, Jeremy. I mean, I could ask you right now, is coffee good for me or bad for me? I personally know coffee is not good for me because you don't want me on that much caffeine. Yet, is coffee good for me? Is red wine good for me? Well, if I go on the internet right now, I could prove either way. Just take action and then look up later and say, no, give it enough time to see the results. And then, like you say, the results will lead to programming. And either it'll reinforce, yes, coffee has been good for me, or it will quickly reinforce, no, that was a poor action. Now I've got to think, what do I have to change? And now go back to removing coffee from your diet in that example. Yet too many of us just get stuck at thinking because we want it to be perfect before we move on, and it never will be.
Yeah, it goes back, you'd mentioned the MREA book, and one of my favorite lines is right at the beginning. It's ready, aim, fire. And I think in concept that's great. Yet I think in the reality, it's a challenge that I find a lot of people get into, because they, it's ready, 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 aim, aim, aim. Okay, let's get back to ready, ready, ready. And it takes them forever to fire. And, that's, I think seeing in Life Sparks what you're trying to accomplish is to get them through that process a whole lot faster, so that they can go make an implementation in life that actually has a measured change. And it doesn't take a lot.
Let me ask you this. Let me take that exact analogy you just said, and let me ask you this. Burglar breaks into your house, comes threatening you, your kids, or your wife, and you actually have a gun. Are you going to get ready? Are you going to aim? No. You're going to just pull the trigger, and then you'll adjust. You'll be like, aha, he didn't get scared off and run. I have to aim lower, or I have to aim higher, or I have to aim left or right because I fired already. Too many people never get to fire. And the ready and the aim don't do you any good. Just fire and then adjust so you're hitting the target. We don't all end up in a situation where it's one shot for all the money. It's make a shot and then go figure out the change you need to make.
Yeah, and for me, being a Texas homeowner, it's the double pump shotgun. It's just the general direction.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. You don't need to be ready or aim. You just fire. You'll hit your target. Exactly.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. I love that analogy. So when you're working with people, because I know you coach people as well, tell me a little bit about that. You do some one-on-one coaching.
I do. I finally decided it was time to offer one-on-one coaching. I get asked every time I teach a class. I get asked all the time. People were always reaching out to me. And I used to say, no. I thought it was a conflict where I was and other roles that I was doing. I didn't feel that it was right to give that opportunity. And it's finally time. And here's the nice thing. Coaching to me is life coaching. And I believe that it's not just one area of life. Life to me, there's 4 areas of life. There's love, which is your relationships. There's improvement of yourself. There's your fitness level. And then there's your economic world. So your money, your job, and all of that. So to me, my coaching is life coaching. Now, most of the people I'm coaching with currently are in real estate. They're not all yet. Most of them are, only because that's my natural background. Yet you can be sure we do half-hour calls every week, and some of our calls haven't talked about sales in any way. Some of our calls have been completely fitness related, health related, to get their energy up because their challenges are down. And one of the things that I'm big on is accountability. So on my coaching calls, at the end of every coaching call, there's homework, and the homework is not decided by me. The homework is decided by my coaching client, and that's how it'll always be at the end of the call. It's tell me from our conversation today, what's the reasonable homework to be doing this week? And sometimes it's daily homework, and I'll wake up in the morning to text messages from all my coaching clients of, I did my 10,000 steps, or I did my yoga, or I did my 15 minutes of meditation, or, those things that they've decided they need to add, or I did my 20 contacts today, or whatever it is. And then sometimes it's weekly, like, okay, by the time we talk next week, here's the homework. And here's the thing, if you don't send it to me before the call, we're not having our call. So to me, accountability is a massive thing. Too many people in the world think accountability is a negative thing, because when they hear accountability, I think they hear consequences. Accountability is not here to make you feel badly. Accountability is not to put you down. Accountability is to help you do what you said you would do. That's all accountability really is. I said I was going to do this, and someone's going to help make sure I do it. So sometimes I have to poke you. Sometimes I have to message you. Sometimes I have to call you out in public. Sometimes there has to be a consequence set to it. Yet accountability is not a bad thing, and too many people think it is. Consequences can be negative things, and that's the purpose, to avoid them by having the accountability. The research shows us again and again and again that you are 76.7% more likely to achieve any goal you have if you've written it down and have weekly accountability to make it happen. And Jeremy, I don't know anybody out there watching this video that doesn't want basically 77% better odds on achieving the goal they've set for themselves.
Yeah, I think when people are looking at coaching, and maybe they haven't been coached before, and there are some bad coaches out there. I'm telling you that. Just like in any industry, there's not so great of whatever. And there are coaches out there that are the telling type, that are like, you do this, you do that, you do that. And I think it sets up the person for failure. And really, coaching should be an agreement to what they want to be held accountable to, and you're just there to make sure that happens.
Right.
It's their plan, right? And they get to choose. Sometimes I even let them choose the consequences. And so that it's 100% on them. It's really about self. How do I keep myself accountable? I'm going to help you with that. And that's what coaching really is. It's not, hey, do this, do this, do this. And they're like, I'm not even willing to do that.
Well, here's the thing. Most coaches are looking to keep you on the line for as long as possible. Right? It's the person who's calling you with the telemarketing script. It's, how long can I keep you on the phone? How long can I keep you on the phone? How long can I keep you on the phone? To me, my goal is to get you out of coaching with me as soon as possible. If I can teach you the tools and the methods that you need to hold yourself accountable, to self-realize the things that you need to do, and have a foundation for all of that, and you can say to me, it's time for me to leave coaching with you for the opportunities that you've given me. I'm going to go prove to you I can do this. It's always an open door to come back to coaching. Yet that's my goal. I don't want people that are coaching clients for life. I want people that are coaching clients to get through a situation, get through an opportunity, and build the actions they need to know they can rely on for the results they continuously want, and know how to create new actions because they've learned that in their time coaching. It's not about a lifetime of coaching. It's about getting in there, learning the tools, moving on.
Yeah, and I do the same thing. I have no contracts with my coaching, yet I let them know it's going to be 90 days of heavy lifting. Give me 90 days. Sometimes we have people come into our coaching world, and I know you've probably had this. They're like, Chad, solve my problem now, and it's usually something that takes time. If it's health, you're not going to go from 270 pounds to 180 pounds in 6 months. It's going to take, there's some things that do take time. So when somebody comes into your coaching world, do you let them know, hey, this is not going to be an immediate, I'm not striking you with lightning and then you're done. That there will be some time involved. Yet I think it's refreshing to know that you can at some point say, you're graduated. You're ready to go to that next step. There's a lot of coaching companies out there that are not like that. And that can be a challenge when the coaching expectations don't align with maybe the contract that they've signed.
I've heard from so many people that sure, they're better because of the coaching program they're in, yet at the same time, they just feel like they're still in the program after years. And it doesn't matter what company there's so many of these coaching companies out there. What an interesting philosophy change it would be if coaches had to graduate their people, right? Yes, you need more than 3 months. You're right. It's going to take at least 3 months to start seeing any results happen. Truly, you should give me a year to see things start to come together and start being able to build the foundation that you need. Yet, if you're still with me coaching 2 years from now, I'm going to look at you and probably say, why? Mm-hmm. Right? Why are you doing it? Are you just enjoying the time with me that we have together, or have I failed you in that regard? And it's move people on and move people up. If more coaches took that mentality, I think it would be such a different world out there for people that they would understand coaching. I mean, sports does it that way, right? I mean, teams give the coach a few years. If the coach isn't succeeding and moving people in the right direction, they move the coach on. People should be doing it the same. They should realize that they might be the player on the team, yet they're also the general manager of the team, and they've hired that coach to help the player get better, yet it's their job as the general manager to fire the coach if need be.
Yeah, I had an amazing coach, and we probably went on about a 2.5-year run. She calls me one day on the coaching appointment. She says, "We're not having a coaching appointment today. You're fired." It's like, what? She goes, "You're fired. We're done. I've given you all that I can give you. It's time to move you on to another great coach." And I'll always remember that. That was something that it took me by surprise. Yet, looking back, you were talking about how everything looks a little bit different in hindsight. It was exactly what needed to happen. And, for a coach to be able to realize that, I think is really powerful. Being in the real estate world and coaching real estate agents, this is the fun question. What is your pet peeve?
My pet peeve in regards to coaching real estate agents in the real estate world. Mm-hmm. My pet peeve. I don't know if I have a pet peeve in that area. It's a good question. I guess there are things that frustrate me, and it's just that they won't get out of their own way. I don't know that it's a pet peeve. It's just probably the biggest thing that drives me nuts. They know what they need to do. They tell you what they need to do, and then they find every reason not to do it. And it's just, I don't understand when they will do that. That's how I know when they're not a coaching client for me, when they get to a point where you know what to do. And yet again, for this week, you've told me why you didn't go knock those doors, or why you didn't make those calls, or why you didn't sit that open house, or why you didn't, whatever it is, depending on what area we're coaching in. They get in their own way, and they just and that's natural. I mean, otherwise everybody would be a success. Mm-hmm. Yet it's probably the biggest frustration, because everybody in real estate can be. I can show you every different personality type. I can show you the introvert that's a top agent. I can show you an extrovert that's a top agent. I can show you someone that loves open houses. I can show you someone that loves door knocking. I can show you someone that does mailers. I can show you someone who's an internet marketing only. Every personality can work. The question is, will you? And I think the frustration to me, because part of my mission is to see people achieve things they never even thought possible. And when they're not achieving those things, it probably is more frustrating to me than them, because I know they can do it, and they're the only reason they're not.
Yeah, I remember, going to Mega Camp one year. It might have been like 2010, 2011. And I'm sitting there, and, Gary got on one of his rants. And, at the end of it, he made a point that I won't forget. And it was, there's a great panel up there. It might have even been Ben up there. I can't remember who it was, but it might have been Ben. But Gary made a point that he said, we're giving you everything. Here's exactly how it's working. Yet I know one of y'all out of the 10,000 will probably actually go do it. Mm-hmm. And I guess it's not a pet peeve. It is more of a frustration. Well, pet peeve is when they don't show up. That does drive me crazy. But when they are there, that is a frustration I see. Is they've got so much talent, so much ability, and sometimes they don't even know it. Hopefully I can share that to where they can see it. Yet they've got all the tools. They know exactly what to do, and then they don't go out and implement.
Well, Jeremy, I was in the gym this morning It's always a morning workout for me. And I work out at a CrossFit style gym called Hard Exercise Works. And today, not to get into detail of the exercises that we had to do, yet there were power cleans as part of the workout today. And the RX weight was 135. And one of the guys came in and we were warming up and he picked up the 135 bar 3 times real quick, no problem, because he's got great form on it. And when we went to start the workout, he stepped down to 115 pounds. And I looked at him and I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Well, that's going to make me take too long to do the workout." I said, "It doesn't matter. You can do it. So go do it. It's okay if you're a little bit slower. That's the goal for the day, is to be able to do it at that weight." And he went and he shifted and he said, under his breath, he said negative things to me, of course, because I called him out on it. Yet you can be sure he came up to me with the fist bump as soon as workout was over, sweating and going, "Thanks for pushing me, because that's what I really needed today to hit that." It frustrates me when someone can do it and won't do it. Because they can. They just won't. Now, there are people who can't. There are certain people who, for whatever their upbringing is, they're just not going to knock on a door. They're too shy, too scared of it, or, their neighborhood's just not the right one to do it in, or they're not going to sit in open house because they're fearful of it, or they're not going to say the right things because it doesn't matter how many times you teach them scripts. They're just not going to learn it, and they're not going to be able to get out of their own way. That's okay. Then those people just clearly aren't for the industry. Right? That's the thing. Everybody, because of HGTV, thinks real estate's the industry for them, and it's easy and it's wonderful, and we should all be flipping houses and we should all be doing all these wonderful things because, well, it looks so easy on House Hunters that, we show them 3 houses and all we have to do is say, "Look, the fridge," and they buy the house. They make it look so easy. It's not easy, which is why such a high percentage of real estate agents don't last multiple years in the industry. Yet the ones who can do it, the frustration is when they won't. The ones who can show up at the gym and lift those weights or do that workout at a high level and then they don't do it, that's the frustration. The ones who could spend 2 more minutes with their spouse and put their phone down. The ones who could do that thing with their kids and take them to the next level. The ones who could do these things and have the time to do them or the opportunity to do them and don't do them, that's the frustration.
Yeah, absolutely. You'd mentioned, not being the right industry for somebody. I want to get your opinion on, do you think the real estate industry has damaged itself by bringing in all these people, basically opening the floodgates? And do you think it's led into some of this, what I call disruptors, right? That are out there, whether it be a company like Compass or EXP, or
right, the ones we won't mention. We won't give them any airtime.
We won't go into all those. Open Door, right? Some of those. Do you think a lot of that's been created by this influx of people that might not need to be in the industry?
Yes. Yeah. That and the internet change that the world has brought along. We all want instant gratification, right? I say, instant gratification isn't fast enough for most people nowadays. Just think about the last time you probably went to the microwave to microwave anything, right? First of all, we never used to have microwaves. Now we put something into the microwave, it tells you to put it in for 2 minutes, and you can't wait the 2 minutes. Like at a minute 58, you're popping it out and you're saying, "Oh, it's ready." You can't wait. You don't have that. And I think that's society nowadays, that we're like, "Oh, we should sell our house. Click, 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 done." Right? And those sites are okay for 10% of the population that really need to get out of their house right now, and they're willing to take a huge loss, because those will buy your house. They're taking your house at 80% to 70% of market value. I put my own house in just to find out what they were offering, and it was way under fair market value for what the house would go for. Right? That's what they're doing. But they're taking advantage of the people who can't do the job and are in the job, and now people get frustrated. Yet here's the thing. In almost every industry, there's plenty of people who shouldn't be there. Go get a massage. 2 out of every 3 massages you get, you probably don't have a great masseuse, right? Doctors are the only place where it's probably different, because there's so much schooling that gets involved with it. Yet think about all the lawyers that are bad lawyers that are out there that we hear about, right? Or think about teachers that, God, I wish every teacher was paid a lot more and there was more to it to be a teacher. I think that's the most underappreciated job out there. They're basically raising our children because they have them half the time. Yet there's still bad teachers out there. Every industry has them. Real estate just makes it easy for them to be seen because of the low level of the bar of entry for it. Yet I think what it does is it really makes you appreciate a great realtor.
Yeah, and saying that, one of the things that drive me crazy, and I don't know if you have these conversations with your coaching clients, but I've had this a few times where people go out and they'll knock on other agents or brokerages or other things. I think it diminishes their story and their opportunity. How do you coach agents to stand out in an industry as large as ours? I think there's 1.2 million agents, and we know 20% of them do 80%. How do we
Right.
make them stand out?
And again, you ask it in the real estate world, I tell it to you that it's got nothing to do with real estate,
No, no,
right?
no.
We're just talking in that industry because that's where
Sure.
we were. It's, do they have a unique value proposition? And you've got to have a unique value proposition. And I just translate that in English as why you, not me, right? Or why me, not you, I guess would be the right way to say it. Why me and not you? And here's the thing. It's not because they're negative. It's what's positive about me. What makes me different? Hey, I got no hair. You have hair. I'm more aerodynamic than you, Jeremy. It's going to make the deal go faster, right?
Exactly.
Whatever it is, have a sense of humor. If you have one, have one.
Mhm.
If you don't have a sense of humor, then don't attempt to be funny, right? We were talking before we started recording about Kevin Kaufman, Fred Weaver. I give them a hello because I love Kevin and Fred. They show up in flip-flops and shorts at their listing appointments. Why? Because they're relating with the clients. That's who they are. They are not suit guys. And if they showed up in a suit, they would not be authentic. Too many people aren't authentic. We attempt to be somebody else. That's one part of it. And then two, they have no idea what their value is that they're bringing to it. They think the price they're going to put the house at is the value. Well, every realtor has the same price, and now you're just bidding for the opportunity, right? It's not about who's going to bid the highest. It's about who's going to get your home sold quickest. So what are you going to do to sell someone's house faster? The same thing is true, again, with a gym, with a church, with anything along those lines, with your spouse, your wife. You had to have a unique value proposition about why she should spend the rest of her life with you, because there are other men she could have had the opportunity to choose in her world, just like you could have chosen another woman, just like Nita could have been with somebody different than me, and I could have been with someone different than her. No, she had a unique value proposition that I said, wow, I buy into that. And she said, and I buy into yours. Obviously, it's a relationship that makes sense. It happens everywhere. Why do you go to the certain gym you go to? Some because it's open 24 hours. That's their unique value proposition. Some because it's a class. Some because the coach yells at you. Some because it's indoors, like Orange Theory stuff, which I used to do, and you don't have to go out in the bad weather. Sometimes it's, no, I get annoyed just running in a treadmill all day long. Whatever it is, the same thing is true with a real estate agent. And I don't care whether you've been in the business for 20 years and sold thousands of homes, or whether you've been in the business for 20 minutes and you haven't sold anything yet. You have a past life, which means you have unique value that you bring to the table. It's just got to be something that you can prove. And it's the same thing with a real estate coach, a life coach, anything like that. Are you finding out what they've gone through? Are you learning their authentic story? Or are you just taking somebody who read some book and they're asking you some question that they're supposed to ask and you went, wow, because they're a page ahead of you on that book? That's all it is to me. Everyone needs a unique value proposition, and we don't know what it is. So that's why we fail.
Yeah, and I think, and I want to add to that, and you kind of kicked into that at the end, is I think it's a unique value proposition, plus you've got to tell the story. You've got to let people know the authentic story of who you are and what that unique value proposition is. Because you could have the greatest unique value proposition and nobody knows about it.
Yeah, you got to tell your own story, right? I mean, we watch TV. They're called commercials.
Mhm.
That's Coca-Cola telling their story over Pepsi, or Pepsi telling their story over Coca-Cola. Because if only Coke was talking, you'd never order a Pepsi.
Mhm.
Or if only Pepsi was talking, you'd never order a Coke. They both have to tell their story and then see which value proposition you align with. There's multiple brands of running shoes. They're all running different commercials with different stories that they're telling. Which one aligns to what you're looking for? The same thing with coaches, the same thing with choosing your agent, the same thing with picking your doctor, the same thing with whatever it is. There's very few situations where you're truly not choosing. Maybe as a kid, you're sent to a certain teacher's class, right? You didn't get to pick your teacher. Yet otherwise, you always have the choice. So find out why those people are unique over the other people and make the right choice before you make any choice.
Yeah, you mentioned Pepsi, and that kind of hit a sore spot. I was out back in your town of Vegas. Went to Michael Jackson 1, and Lori got a Pinot Grigio, and the guy asked me what I wanted. I said I wanted Jack and Coke, and he goes, "Yeah, we don't serve Coke here." And I was like, "Well, we don't do Jack and Pepsi." So, so I had a
That's
water.
it. So you had a water. There you go. Good for you on making the choice.
Yeah.
And again, it's the unique value proposition. You will choose Coke over Pepsi, and you will actually even pass on that Pepsi option. Just like, hey, Nike's probably one of the best known shoe brands that's out there. I mean, I love their commercials. I love their logo. I love the Just Do It. I love all of that. They don't fit on my feet. They just don't fit properly on my feet when I go running. So you can be sure I'm never going to wear Nike shoes. So even though I love their stuff, I don't buy into their value proposition because the Brooks fit me better when it comes to buying true running shoes. So that's where my brand loyalty ends up lying. The same thing is true with agents. The same thing is true with coaches. The same thing is true with everything. Same thing is true in your marriage, right? The brand loyalty lies because the unique value propositions line up and the stories are being told.
So, we're looking down the road here in your business. Where do you see Ember Seminars going? How do you see yourself growing as a coach?
Well, I mean, if I dream cast it, right, it becomes a coaching company where I'm able to be out there speaking and doing seminars and training opportunities. Again, they won't be 4-day weekend events. They'll be 1-day or half-day events or keynote speak style, so that it's not, hey, let me give you 4 days of stuff that you don't do anything about. To me, it'll always be that belief, Jeremy, of I'm going to give you a short dose of something that you can then go pick one thing and implement from. And then there'll be the coaching opportunities that Ember will always be able to provide, whether it's through me directly or other coaches that are following in our belief in our system, helping people achieve the goals they're looking for. That's where we'll end up down the road one day as the plan and the path layout.
Awesome. So before I ask how people can connect with you, I have to bring up something. I just want to get your thought on it. It kind of made me giggle this morning. I had somebody reach out, send me an email, quick email saying, "Hey, I see you're talking with Chad this morning about coaching. Why would you talk to another coach and promote their coaching program?" And I was just sitting there thinking, there's a big pond out there. There are people I am not going to connect with. There's people I'm going to connect with. And I just think when we can come together kind of as an industry, we can help each other out. And I think there's times where, I might, you coach on a lot more life stuff than I do. And sometimes people need that. And so I think there's the value that you bring and the value that I bring are different. And it just kind of made me giggle because it's such a position of fear. And I was like, no, I'm not afraid at all to talk to Chad about coaching because he's an awesome coach. I've learned so much from him over the years.
And so thank you for that. And of course, learning from you on many things as well. And you're right. We've got to come from a place of abundance, not fear, right? We've heard that before. We've heard that again and again and again. Too many people are fear-based. Like, it's mine, it's mine, it's mine. And if someone takes it from me, oh my gosh, I've lost something. No, we've got to do what's best for the other people. When I was selling houses, I know my disc personality. And if anybody's watching this and they haven't figured out their disc personality, go take one of the free online disc personality profiles that's out there. Just Google it, right? Learn a little about yourself. And it's not to then say, aha, I've proven myself, right? It's like reading my horoscope and saying, well, of course that's me. It's so that I know what I need to work on as I'm talking to other people. Well, I know one of the things about me and the disc personality is I have no C. No C at all, which is why I told you don't want me doing your bookkeeping. I'm going to mess that up. That's the compliant. That's the accountant. That's the engineer personality, the architect. And that drives me nuts. And I can tell you, when I was selling houses, if I had a client who was that type, I was not doing them the best service I could. And there was somebody on the team that I was on who had that personality. So if you're the right person doing the right thing for people, it'll all come back to you in the long run. Every time I had a client like that, I said to this person, hey, I'm going to give this client to you. Well, now here's the thing. He didn't have that New Yorker attitude that I have that comes with me from my life. There were people that would run over him as clients. And he said I wasn't able to service them as best as possible. It's like, all right, I'll take those from you. And it really ended up working out that we were able to give clients the best possible representation by making sure they had the right person. The same thing is true in the coaching world. There are so many coaching companies out there, and some follow a certain belief. And if you don't believe in that, okay, good. There's other coachings for you. Doesn't mean there aren't people who want that coaching. when it comes to you and I, you're right. I wouldn't be surprised if at some point some of my clients end up working with you, or some of your clients end up coming over to me for the opportunity to say, you're right, Jeremy, you've gotten me here. I need Chad, it sounds like, to take me to there. And then I can come back and go to the next level with you or something along those lines. Proper coaches don't live in fear. They're living in abundance, and they know they're doing what's best for the potential client. And sharing this information with us today is not oh no, I hope people don't go work with you. It's, I hope people realize they have choice and make the right one.
Yeah. So when I get done having this recorded, that's one of the things I'm going to send this back to that person. Here's a coaching moment.
There you go.
So how do people get in touch with you, Chad?
Oh gosh, there's 7 million ways in today's world to get in touch with me, right? You can see my name on the screen. When I talk, it pops up. It's Chad Hyams. Last name is spelled Hyams. As I say, I don't eat them. I don't like them. They're just in the spelling of my name, so that you remember how to spell it. And you can find me on Facebook at Chad Hyams. You can find me on Twitter at Chad Hyams. You can find me on Instagram at Chad Hyams. You could just email me, chadhymes@gmail.com. Right there I am. I got no problem putting that out there. I filter my emails well enough. Don't worry, I'm not going to end up on some spam list. Someone who's saying, oh my gosh, go ahead, put my email wherever you want. I prefer you don't, yet it's there. I'm Chad Hyams everywhere. I'm lucky there aren't that many of me out there. So it's easy to get a hold of me, so they can just find me through all of that. Again, YouTube, Chad Hyams. It's easy to find me, Jeremy, and then all they got to do is message me. And if they do, please let me know that they found me from here, so that I can, of course, let Jeremy know that you were watching.
Awesome. And same here. If you find Chad, let me know as well. I'd love to be able to facilitate that and get you connected with him if you can't find him. It's pretty hard not to find Chad. You can send a smoke signal, Batman signal, and he's going to show up. So just reach out. So Chad, I'm glad you took the time. Honored to take the time with you. You've been a great friend over the years, and it's been fun watching you and your personal journey, and all the things that you've gone through that have given you an opportunity that I believe to be really big, and that's to be able to change the lives of those that you come into contact with. And I think that's the biggest thing as a coach. When you always ask a coach, what's the biggest drive? It's being able to help people, a good coach anyways. And I see that in you, Chad. So thank you for your time today.
Thank you, Jeremy. And thanks everybody for watching. Check out the Life Spark videos. Thursdays, they go on Facebook and YouTube. Again, hashtag Life Spark, or just go to youtube.com/Chad Hyams and look for the Life Spark playlist. I'd love to let you guys take a minute to check some of those out. Hear what you're thinking about them.
All right. Awesome, Chad. Thank you again, and have a blessed day.